It's been a while since I talked about new luxury handbag designs, so let's do that today. Let's talk about Loewe first. I think they have some really amazing handbags. If I was starting my luxury handbag collection from scratch, this brand would be a strong contender. Most of the designs are simple, modern, and very low-key. I'm especially drawn to the Loewe mini hammock. It reminds me of the Hermes Lindy, which I used to have, but I think the mini hammock is even more modern and chic. Loewe is also amazing at making limited editions. Their Totoro line, for example, is so cute and playful, but not tacky. This year, they've also come out with the bunny design in celebration of the Year of the Rabbit. The Loewe hammock Nugget bunny is absolutely gorgeous. The bunny ears truly bring the bag to life. I think this is such a clever way to feature the bunny element. It's certainly very noticeable, but in a very chic way. I think even if I didn't celebrate the Year of the Rabbit, I would still find this bag very adorable and wearable. Then we have the Loewe bunny bag. They usually feature the elephant for this bag, but I think the bunny is even cuter. Now, I don't usually like super tiny handbags, but I can see why people would want to have this. The bunny bag in the grey color especially is so lovely. I think the color works really well with the pink interior. The contrast is gentle but so unmissable. There is a new bag from Loewe that I'm not crazy about, which is the Loewe shopper in the paper calfskin. Let me know if you agree with this, but I think this bag looks so much like the IKEA shopping bag. I'm also not very sure about the big Loewe logo on the straps. I guess the whole point of this design is to have something very unconventional and out there, but it's not something I personally would want to have. In terms of Hermes, I haven't come across anything new that's exciting. Now, they don't do many new designs anyway compared to other luxury houses. Last year, however, they launched the Kelly on Disordre, which is like a deconstructed version of the classic Hermes Kelly bags. I think a lot of Hermes collectors are very excited about this new design. I'm personally not into it. Perhaps I'm just used to the looks of the classic Kelly bags. But I do find this new design to be a bit disorientating for me. Let's talk about the Chanel 22 backpack. At first, I thought this bag was quite similar to the Chanel girl bag, in the sense that not everyone can pull it off, but on the right people, it can look quite trendy. Now, I think the Chanel girl bag was definitely a flop for Chanel. It was there for like a season or two, and then we never see it again. And I think the problem with the Chanel girl bag is that the elements were very conflicting. The overall design is very casual, but the Chanel jacket itself is a very feminine element. So the two components just didn't work very well together. The Chanel 22 backpack, on the other hand, is very simple and casual, and the top handles are also very handy. It's probably not something that you would want to bring to a very formal event, but I guess not every single handbag has to be versatile like the Chanel Classic flap. Personally, this is not something I can see myself paying so much for, but I can see why people might love this bag because it does look very practical and wearable. Moving on to Dior. I think Dior is very good at making luxury items that are practical. For example, this top handle clutch bag has a top handle. The chain is detachable and there's a very generous back pocket. I used to have a Chanel wallet on chain, and I think a back pocket is a very desirable feature. However, for me, this bag just doesn't look very attractive on the whole. The Dior charm just looks a little bit awkward to be dangling from the middle of the bag. I think it probably would look a bit better if it was hanging from the side of the top handle. Another option would be to have a small CD logo where the closure is, instead of having the Dior charm. In terms of craftsmanship, Dior is up there. In fact, I sometimes even think Dior makes better quality pieces than Chanel. But I don't know, I'm just not very drawn to many of their new designs. The only new design I'm interested in is the mini Lady Dior. But strictly speaking, that is not exactly a new design either. It looks like Dior also launched the Dior Caro daily pouch. No complaint about it. I think it's really simple and very Dior classic. It actually reminds me of my YSL pouch, which I've been really enjoying. This is actually a lot more practical than I expected. To be honest, I think a lot of luxury clutch bags have fairly similar designs, so I think it's great that we now have yet another option to choose from. Next is Fendi. They've been coming out with some really exciting designs. Last year, I spoke about the Fendi first clutch bags, which look really fashionable. But today, I want to touch on the Fendigraphy bag. At first glance, this looks like a very plain hobo bag, but the statement element is at the bottom. Now, I don't usually like big logos on my handbags, but this bag just looks so chic. It's bold and full of character, but not in a tacky way. Now, I'm quite sure I wouldn't feel the same if the big Fendi logo was at the front, but the fact that it's where it is makes the bag so interesting. Apparently, the strap is adjustable, so you can even wear this bag crossbody, but I think it looks the best as a hobo bag. I guess the only con with this bag is that the hardware will be quite prone to scratches because it is essentially the feet for the handbag. If any of you have this bag, please let us know how it's going for you. It looks like Louis Vuitton has introduced new sizes for the Matisse bag. Now, the Louis Vuitton Classic Matisse was very popular at one point, but it looks like they are now readily available on the website in all kinds of materials, so I'm not sure if the heat is cooling down. Anyway, I've never considered having a Louis Vuitton Matisse because to me it looks a bit like a school bag or a work bag. And because of that, it just feels a little bit limiting compared to, let's say, a Speedy. The new Micro Matisse is definitely a lot cuter. But being a super tiny handbag, it doesn't look like it would even fit my phone. I personally place a lot of focus on practicality when it comes to buying luxury handbags. So this one is certainly not my cup of tea, regardless of how adorable it looks. If you're looking for the perfect happy medium, they now have the Matisse East-West. This one is half the size compared to the classic Matisse and is a very usable, practical, and generous mini bag. The Matisse East-West has also retained a lot of the classic Matisse features, and I think it's also really versatile. So out of the three choices, this one is certainly my favorite. Let's talk about the new Louis Vuitton collection, which is the Yayoi Kusama line. The whole collection is so colorful and very lively. But I feel like because the polka dots are so out there, there's a lot of potential for the design to look dated in a year or maybe a few years down the line. Now, I am biased, seeing I do prefer simpler designs, but I feel like this collection is more suited for collectors and people who enjoy bright colors and true statement pieces. I probably wouldn't recommend it if you're looking to buy your first luxury handbag. Let's talk about the Louis Vuitton Petit Malle V bag. This is basically the top handle version of the classic Petit Malle bag. I personally really like the Petit Malle collection. They are probably not the most practical handbags, but they're certainly a piece of art. The Louis Vuitton Petit Malle V bag looks amazing on the front. I think the top handle goes really well with the boxy design. However, the side profile is not as appealing. I think Louis Vuitton should have kept the simple box design instead of splitting the box open. I think the bag would have looked a little bit more classy that way. A while ago, Louis Vuitton came out with the improvised version of the Louis Vuitton Mini Palm Spring backpack. Mine is the old version, which I still really enjoy. With the new one, they've changed the zipper design, so the canvas doesn't cover the zipper anymore. This is to allow easier opening and closing. It's a very small difference, but I feel like that took away something from the bag. Visually, the bag almost looks a little bit wider. I've also noticed some differences with the top handle. The old one looks a little bit taller and narrower and is more defined, whereas the new one looks a little bit flatter. It's probably just more accentuated on picture than in person. So if you happen to have the new version, please let us know if the differences are as noticeable in person. At the moment, I'm quite drawn to Loewe. I find the designs very simple and low-key, but yet interesting. If there are any other new designs that you find intriguing, please let me know and I'll certainly look into them. So that's it from me today. Thank you for being here. Take care and I'll see you soon.